Hey everybody, how's the video looking? Looking nice? It should. It's coming from a Canon R50. And an R50 is an enthusiast level camera that can produce some really good looking video and photographs. There's a lot of discussion about these enthusiast level cameras and how good of photos and video they can produce. Something that isn't talked about quite so much, however, is how good is the audio? How good is the sound that's being recorded in these videos? Now, right now it should sound pretty good because I'm using an external audio recorder with a condenser boundary microphone on the table next to me here. That works pretty well. The downside is that it's a little cumbersome because I record the audio tracks and the video tracks separately, and I have to get them lined up in time in my video editor so that the audio and the video stay in sync with each other. To make that task a little easier, I use this automotive switch, which makes a brief clicky sound, like so. And that puts a little spike on the audio soundtrack. And I can line up the spike that comes off of the mics from the camera and the mic that's on my table here that's recorded separately, and I line up those spikes, and that way I know that the audio track and the video track are in nearly perfect time with each other. But wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to go through all of that hassle in order to get good sound? Wouldn't it be nice if I could just use the camera rather than all this extra stuff? Well, I think we should do an experiment and try a few different miking techniques in this scene here to see what kind of results we'd get, and if doing this extra work is worth the effort or not. So if you have a Canon R50, follow along and you'll see the results of these tests, and they should be applicable to your situation and your equipment. If you're using a camera other than the R50, well, I think that you'll still find this to be an interesting exercise. And I still think that there's some important takeaways. And you'll see the difference in pickup that you'll get from different miking techniques. And I also suspect that if you're using an enthusiast level camera like the R50, the results that you're going to get from your camera are probably going to be pretty similar. So let's try some different miking techniques that we could in this situation using just the camera, using the camera with an external preamp and a proper microphone, or using a good microphone and an external recorder, and just try the different combinations of this. We'll see what we get, and we'll check out the results and maybe come to some conclusion as to what makes sense. So in this segment, we're listening to the on-camera audio, the mics that are built into the camera, and the camera is set to automatic level on these mics. So it's in that mode where you just pick up the camera, point and shoot, and record what you record. And those mics are going to pick up all of the ambient sounds around the camera. Now for picking up me and my voice, well, I'm 6 or 7 feet away from the camera with this lens attached. And that's just too far away to get a really clean, clear, distinct vocal pickup. Now the next step might be to put a microphone on top of the camera, like one of those little tiny shotgun mics. And those mics are more directional, so they focus the camera's audio a little bit more towards what's in front of the camera and reject some of the sounds from the sides and the rear. And that would sound marginally better because I'd have a little less interference from some of that background noise. However, even with that mic, it's still on the camera and it's still 6, 7, 8 feet back away from me, and I'm still going to sound like I'm being recorded 6 or 7 or 8 feet back. So that's not a real great choice. There are places where those shotgun microphones work really well, but there's a lot of situations that I see people put them in where they're probably really not the best choice. And so if you're interested in shotgun microphones on your camera, I have a video that addresses that topic and why I say that shotgun microphones are usually not a good choice for most video creators most of the time. But as you can hear, the mics that are on the camera themselves, well, they're really not bad sounding mics. And if you're just interested in picking up ambient sounds, you're walking through a county fair and want to get the ambience of that, there's a musical performance that you're in the audience and you want to pick up, that kind of thing, it might actually work all right. But if you want to do an interview type situation or get a really clean, clear audio of somebody speaking who's 5 more feet away from the camera, the built-in camera mic's probably not the best choice. We need to get a mic that's a little bit closer to the subject for a clean and clear pickup. So let's try another mic. Now here's a solution that I'll often recommend. The use of a lav mic or a lavalier microphone. The one that I'm using is an inexpensive mic by Audio-Technica right here, clipped onto my shirt, and it goes right back to the camera. The camera is being set to automatic record level mode. And so this puts a microphone a whole lot closer to me than if it was sitting on the camera. And consequently, we should be getting a much clearer pickup from me with this lav mic on. And the lav mic being attached to me stays with me as I move around. So I stay on mic as I do different activities. And that's great as long as I don't have a problem with the cord hanging off my body. You can also, of course, get cordless lav mics. And that's an option. Lav mics are really inexpensive. This one is under $50. I've seen them even less than that. Of course, if you're a pro doing a big Hollywood production, you can spend a whole lot of money on high quality lav mics. But as you can see, this one gets the job done. It's not very expensive. It's really convenient. And it's just being wired directly back to the camera. No other equipment involved. So very simple, pretty effective, and it's cost effective. It gets the job done for a low price. But I'm not super comfortable wearing a lav mic. I find it a little bit restraining, constrictive, having this cord on my body. And I also don't think the lav mics give you the top quality sound. A whole lot better than a mic that's 6 or 8 feet away, but still not the very highest sound quality. And it feels like to me that I'm always a little bit off mic with the lav. But still a pretty good solution. A couple of tips with lav mics, which is this is a pretty good placement. Just kind of right above the belly, down from the chest a little bit. That way it picks up my voice and everything around me nice. Some people will put the lav mic right underneath the chin, but this is kind of a little bit of a sound cave right here, where most of your voice is being projected away and you're getting more of the guttural stuff up here. And so putting the mic right at my throat, probably not the best placement. Better than being back on the camera 8 feet away, but still not the best placement. My choice would be a little bit lower down here, or maybe off to the side if I can, on my collar over here. But this is a good choice for a lot of people. It's inexpensive and it works well. The lavalier microphone, and it plugs directly into the camera. Now, one thing to be noticing with this is, what is the sound character? Does it sound clean and clear? Am I present? Does my voice sound right tonality wise? A lot of those things have to do with the character of this individual microphone. The other thing I'm listening to is, what is the background noise in the recording? Now you're going to hear some background noise because I'm in the great outdoors here, so you probably hear some birds chirping and maybe some farm equipment running off in the distance, and there's some wind going through. But beyond that, do you hear any electronic buzz, hum, hiss, or noise? And so that's a characteristic of the preamp of the camera itself and how good it is. And so you can take a listen to the sound quality that you get from a lavalier mic, along with any background noise being imparted by the camera's preamp, and determine if this is an inexpensive and effective way for you to get audio on your videos. Let's try a different method. Let's step up the microphone a little bit to a higher quality mic and see how that sounds. So now what I've done is I've taken away the lavalier microphone and I've replaced it with a Shure SM57, which is a general purpose dynamic professional microphone. And I've just wired this Shure 57 directly into the camera, and that's what we're taking a listen to. I suspect that the quality of this mic is a little bit better than that lavalier mic. Now, of course, since this is a microphone that's on the table, I have to be a bit mindful of my position relative to it to maintain constant clear recording level. Also, this is a professional series microphone which expects to go into a proper microphone preamp, a balanced input preamp with low impedance connections and all of that. That's not what this is going into. It's being wired directly into the camera, which is high impedance, unbalanced. It's using just a simple cable to convert the connectors, and that's not the right way to do things. We might be paying a performance penalty for that, but I think it's going to be alright. So you tell me, how does this Shure SM57 sound when it's plugged in to the Canon camera? Probably sounds alright. But my question again is, how does the microphone itself sound? Does it sound better than the other mics? And how does the background noise sound? Not just the background that the mic is picking up, but do you hear hum or buzz or hiss that's coming out of the camera itself? And how quiet is that, and is it objectionable or not? Is this a good enough solution for you to use? So we've tried a couple of different mics going directly into the camera. We've tried the external recorder, which we know is going to give us pristine audio. There's one more thing that we can try, and that is to put the microphone into a preamplifier which boosts the signal up. And that boosted signal will then get driven into the camera's microphone input. And the idea with that is that we can drive a signal into the camera that's of a relatively high level, and that way I can turn the gains of the camera way down. So I push in a lot of signal, turn the gains way down to give me a proper output. And by turning the gain of the camera down and being in a manual record mode, theory has it that I should be able to, or I might be able to, push the noise floor, the background hiss that's coming out of the camera, down a ways and get a quieter, cleaner sounding recording. So let's give that a try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this microphone and I'm going to put it into the Zoom recorder, which has a great sounding mic preamp that I know is very high quality, very quiet. And I'll take the output of the Zoom recorder line output and put it into the camera as a properly managed audio source, which should give the camera the best possible audio to record. And then we'll see how well of a job the camera does in rendering that signal. So this is the sound of the microphone going through the Zoom recorder as an amplifier to provide a nice, solid, powerful signal into the camera that I can record. And I've set the camera to a manual record level and I've turned its gain down as much as I practically can, which will reduce the noise floor out of the camera as much as possible. And so if you listen to the recording now and its silent parts, this should be about as good of an audio recording as I can achieve directly with the camera. Now, of course, you could do this with devices other than the Zoom recorder that I'm using. There are devices such as this Juice Link, which is a microphone preamp that's designed for cameras for doing this very thing. And there are photo sellers who sell all sorts of different types of preamplifier products like this, or small field recorders that have an audio output that could drive your camera. And so this is about as good of a sound as I think I'm going to be able to achieve by recording with the camera directly. Now you've heard the results of that SM57, and maybe you said, I don't like SM57s, I want a better quality mic, or I don't want that mic right in my face. And so in that case I set up a different mic, which is a studio condenser microphone, and I have it just outside of the frame over my head right here. And so this is the kind of sound that you could expect from a high quality microphone that's just outside of frame. Well, thanks for hanging out. I hope you found it to be interesting and informative. And hopefully, after seeing this exercise, it gives you a good idea as to how you want to approach miking a scene on your productions. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to catch you again soon on another upcoming video. If you'd like to support the channel, I would appreciate that. If you could take a moment and subscribe, click the like button on the video, click that bell icon so you're notified when new content on this channel drops. If you've got something to add to the conversation, please, I'd appreciate it if you'd drop a comment and participate. So thanks again for stopping by, and I hope to catch you soon on another upcoming episode.